What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Deku was forced to fight Class 1A, to protect a villain girl he loved? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. Another day at UA. Hi, the children pursuing their courses to better be able be productive members of society. There were the busy calculations, charting, and brainstorming from the business course students. The support students were doing their normal blueprinting, adjusting, building, testing of new equipment, and in the case of one certain individual laughing off another explosion. The general studies program were doing, whatever it is the general studies group does. Come to think on it, what do the general studies do? Just take the normal classes as every other high school, or hope to be able to move to a different program. That just seems almost a waste, but there must be a reason for it. The 40 hero course students just got done doing a joint battle exercise, where one class was pitted against the other. Class 1A was able to defeat Class 1B, through hard work, teamwork, and a fortuitous development of another quirk by nearly everyone's favorite quirk inheritor. This led to 19 people being happy at the results, and 21 unhappy. But wait, if two classes with a total 40 students are broken down evenly, then shouldn't it be 20 happy and 20 unhappy? One would assume so, but that person never had the unfortunate pleasure of meeting one Katsuki Bakugo. You see, Katsuki Bakugo is one of those rare individuals in the world, and everyone who ever meets this guy is very thankful for that rarity. He has an inflated sense of ego so bad it is a wonder he never floats off. His language is so foul, a fleet of sailors on shore leave want him to shut up, and watch his words. The anger he is always feeling towards most people, and especially one certain Deku, is at a level where a special green-skinned hero has offered to support him in anger management classes, and gave the boy a card for a green-haired psychologist he knows. This Bakugrunt believes that the world revolves around him, and any intelligent person who meets him starts looking for ways to leave orbit. The reason Bakugo is mad right now is twofold. 1. Biology, seriously this dude needs to be on some major medication. 2. Class 1A1, but it was not him winning. According the warped logic in his mind, he should have been able to wipe the floor with all those Class B extras, and Deku. The fact he had to work with others, the concept called teamwork, he shudders, pissed him off. Also that the final battle had Deku surprising everyone again with his quirk, developing a new ability, and inspiring those simpletons to win. He thinks seriously, Mineta was focused and did decently, because of Deku, lead to another level of anger. On a scale of anger, Bakugo is usually at a solid 6 out of 10, and that's when he is calm and asleep. This puts him at a 9 out of 10 stage, with just a small percent needed to go full-blown meltdown at 10. Due to this aggression level, he is shooting his mouth off again, annoying his dorm mates in the common area. Bakugo is so pissed off he starts writing checks his butt can't cover, and lets loose with one bit of information he should have kept to himself. Plus style, scene change plus. AAAARRRGH, I can't believe you extras. How the hell do you almost lose to those wastrels, sprouted of the angry Bakugo. Bakugo, there is no need to get upset. The whole class did well. And this is a truly good learning experience. Replied the vice president of the class, Momo Yaoyaozu. You shut the buck up, ponytail. You have absolutely no room to talk considering you lost so freaking easy. Shot back the sweaty one. Why, what do you mean by that? Asked a confused Momo. You lost to a freaking mushroom. Those are easy to deal with. You burn it with fire, or you make some stupid antifungal spray. How you are even in this class if you can't figure that out is beyond me. Shouldn't shock me considering how fast you lost in the sports festival. Shot back the hot-tempered youth. Momo is unable to say anything, on the verge of crying. Tenya Ilda, class president, interjected, that is not a fair assessment. That mushroom girl is very powerful, and could have seriously hurt our classmate. And we don't need to burn a schoolmate for a training simulation, and we have no idea what those antifungals would do to her. Like I care, as long as you win. Who cares about the trash in your way, stated the belligerent boy. Sighing, Shoto Todoroki, the half-fire and half-ice user made something, and proceeded to hand it to the fiery-tempered teen. Here Bakugo, you need this. What the living duck is this? Why are you giving me a stupid ice cube, icy hot? The irate and confused one asked. It's a chill pill. You use it as a suppository, answered the red and white-haired student. I don't need this crap, why don't you use it and shove it up yourself? You think you being the son of the current number one means anything? You and him are nothing compared to what I am going to be, you half and half bastard. Fired back the pissed-off exploder. Being compared to his horrible father is one of the quickest ways to anger the normally stoic teen. Feeling anger, Todoroki's quirk started to flare around him. Todoroki, calm down. Kacchan didn't mean it like that. Jumped in Izuku Midoriya. Kacchan, you need to calm down a little, you're going a little overboard. Don't tell me what to do, Deku. Roared the Green One's former childhood friend. You especially piss me off. You cannot do anything without cheating somehow. You didn't win that fight, you lucked out by getting another quirk. I am so tired of this crap. I wish you had jumped when I told you to. The room quieted in an instant, everyone trying to process the implications of that last statement. The only sound was a whimper from a certain green-haired quirk inheritor. Deku. Started softly by Ochako Uraraka, the gravity girl of the class, and first major friend to Izuku. What did he mean by that? Nothing Uraraka. Just Kacchan playing a joke on us. Midoriya tried playing off. Eijiro Kirishima, the red-headed hardening quirk user, and about the only one someone would possibly be able to call Bakugo a friend, asked, Bakubro, you're not saying what I think you're saying, right? What do you think, crappy hair? Yeah, I told him to jump off a roof, because he is worthless. Both then and now, matter of fact, Deku, why not do it now, and save us the waste of you forever? The foot-tasting teen said, enjoying it so much he munched up to the knee. The room was silenced once again. The audacity of this person to be bragging about what he said in the past, and even encourage it now, was beyond compare. The silence was broken by a primeval roar, and a yell, Uraraka, no, stop. Ochako, hearing how her good friend and crush was just told to kill himself, not only in the past, but right now, snapped. She went straight to full-blown yandere mode, ready to eliminate anything that threatened her man not yet claimed. She was the one that roared and jumped towards the blonde-haired bastard, ready to inflict as much gunhead martial arts as possible. The one called Deku, both as an insult and as a cute, wholesome nickname, noticed his female friend's state, and tried to stop her by yelling, Uraraka, no, stop, and reached out to her, barely catching her ankle. Tenya Idia, Midoriya's other friend, broke out of his trance at the yell, and quickly dashed in front of the raging girl, helping to stop her with the usually timid boy's help. Let me go, Deku, I mean Izuku, stunning the boy, and a couple of others using his personal name like that. This piece of filth needs to pay. No one has the right to tell you to do that. You not only deserve to live, but be here with us. Let me deck this jerk, let me go. Struggled the usually bubbly girl. Ochako, began the terrified young boy concerned about his lady friend. Responding by calling her first name, in hopes of breaking through to her. It's all right, I didn't even think about it then, or now. I know it's not worth it, and Kacchan doesn't mean it, this is just his way. Letting go of the ankle of his struggling friend, and initiating a hug. Hearing her name from the lips of her favorite person, and then feeling his arms wrap around her, helped revert yandere mode back to normal mode. Highly embarrassed by the position she was currently in, she started to blush up a storm, though didn't try to get out of his arms. Damn, you are stupid, Deku. I absolutely meant it then, and I do now. I am beyond sick of you, and I can't wait for the day I never hear that lame name, Kacchan, ever again. Said the person getting to the top of everyone's, let's put into a catapult and fire list. Izuku whimpered more at hearing the vile coming from his childhood bully, and tightened the hug on Ochako more. Not only accepting the hug, she turned around and embraced him also, though keeping an eye on the person she was hoping to develop the ability to create a black hole, and throw them through. Enough, said a voice that chilled everyone to the bone. Looking towards who spoke, few people were able to tell the voice belonged to Todoroki. He was cascaded in waves of fire and ice, surrounding his body, not just on sides, his whole body. With a look he learned from his father, for once actually glad of the man, he stared straight at Bakugo. Midoriya does not deserve such an idea, nor language directed at him. He is the soul of this class, the backbone. Nearly everyone here owes him for something. Nobody owes you anything. If anyone is worthless here, it is you, emphasizing the last word with his venom is a school of king cobras. Like hell, I'm worthless. That's Deku throughout his entire life. I have been the best since, forever, and will be the best. You all should be grateful to even be in my presence. The boy who loves digging a hole from the inside said. No, Todoroki is right. Spoke out Momo. Everyone here does owe something to Midoriya. How about a challenge, Bakugo? She smiled a little evilly. There ain't no way I'm gonna lose a challenge, especially if you think it's me versus Deku. Responded the, being played, young man. Okay, good. Responded the creating genius. How about this? She created a whiteboard and some markers. Drawing a line down the middle, she placed Midoriya's name on one side, and Bakugo's on the other. The challenge is this, excluding today, each of us can say how Midoriya influenced us, basically his achievements, and then we can place your achievements on the other side. The side filled the most wins. Huh. Like you all ain't just gonna kiss the little green turd's butt, and make me out to be a villain. Responded the actual villain in all but name. No, this is a fair and balanced process. To add another level or protection, let's have someone second the act. That way it is not just one person saying something, but getting verification from another. Added Tenya Idia, coming up the addendum as fast as his quirk would normally let his body move. Fine, yeah, whatever. Let's get this joke on the road. The blonde-haired idiot that was not Kaminari said. How should we proceed? Should anyone just shout out something, or should we go via a timeline? Asked Momo. I think a timeline would be best, and I think we should start with the most recent events. Offered Tenya. Yes, that does make a fair amount of sense. So, what was the most recent event besides today's training? Asked the rich girl. I think I know, and have a pretty good one. The purple-haired rocker, Kyoko Jiro stated. Oh, what is it, Kyoko? Asked Yaomomo, the punk-styled girl's best friend. Blushing at the familiarity, but not able to deny it, the earphone jack quirk user started. The school festival. Before we started playing, I heard that Midoriya was able to fight off a villain who wanted to disrupt the festivities. Yeah, I heard that. It was some sorry excuse for a villain if you asked me. Bakugo interrupted. No, it was a true villain. One who had been working for over 6 years and was never caught. He would be able to fight and defeat multiple pro heroes at once. And yes, Problem Child did defeat him. Solo. Verified Shoto Aizawa, the homeroom teacher of Class 1A said, surprising everyone since they did not know he was here. Aizawa-sensei, how long have you been here? Inquired Tenya, worried about the amount of information presented so far, but not yet documented. I got here right when Yaoyorozu made the whiteboard and laid out the challenge. I am not sure what started this, but I am content to see how you handle this. I won't stop this, and may contribute. Answered the underground hero. Okay, thank you sensei. So, we have confirmation of saving school from villain attack. Anything else from this time? Clarified the mature young woman, writing down villain defeated, school saved, on the board. Actually yes, offering the teacher, I'm not sure if this would count, but it was Midoriya that came up with the idea to let Eri attend the school festival, and in doing so, helped her overcome the darkness that had been plaguing her, from the performance you all did. Wait, my littlest horn buddy. Yeah, she did say Mr. Deku offered to bring her to festival. The pink-skinned, horned girl Mina Ishido said. All right, I am going to take that as verification. Responded Momo, putting up Eri, saving soul, school festival and saved school festival. Anything else? Seeing no response, okay, what happened before the festival? Sorry Mr. Aizawa, but I have to talk about this. The hardened boy Kirishima started, I need to mention the raid. The events of the raid is supposed to be a secret. But considering what this is about, and we just mentioned the result of it, I will allow it. The pro-hero erasure head decided. Thank you sir. Responded the dyed red teen. Okay, for the raid against the Yakuza, what didn't Mito bro do? He saved Eri, defeated the big boss Overhaul, arrived just in time to save Tagata-senpai, and also fought off some League of Villain members. Yeah, I heard about that. But it was all due to his worthless butt not doing the job in the first place. Broke in the bombastic boy. I would have blasted the mook as soon as I saw him, and wouldn't have had to worry about making a raid later. Sigh, and this is why you are taking the remedial provisional license program. Midoriya recognized the danger posed by Overhaul, and even then wanted to save Eri. It was only due to her running back to the villain, due to a desire to save the lives of Midoriya and Togato, that they did not get her at that time. There was an investigation already in progress, and attacking would have hampered, if not outright destroyed, that investigation. The field experienced man inputted. Whatever, that's a lot that Deku supposedly did. Too bad no one can verify it. Laughed off the jerkwad. Ribbit, that's where you were wrong. Me and Ochako saw him finish the fight with Overhaul. Me, Ochako, and Aizawa-sensei was there when he finally rescued Eri-chan. And Aizawa-sensei was there when Mido-chan burst in the room saving Togato. Ribbit. The froggy girl Suyu Asai stated. Seems more than one person can validate this. I will accept this as true, if no one other than Bakugo objects. The ponytailed beauty stated, cutting off a potential problem. Seeing no one objecting, added save Eri, raid, defeat villain, Overhaul, save Togato, raid, defeat villain, League of Villain members. That needs a little clarity. Who was it that he fought that was part of the League? Asked the tail girl. It was Himiko Toga, she is the one that can shapeshift. Spoke Midoriya. Her. Oh Izuku, good job. Ochako cheerfully supported. Thank you for that clarity, Midoriya. Momo then proceeded to finish the entry as defeat villain, League of Villain Himiko Toga. Is that all for the raid? Yes, that's all that needs to be said about it. Continue. Aizawa confirmed. I think the previous thing before the raid was the provisional license exam. Stated Tenya. Agreed. And I actually have one for the board. My team was only able to pass because I was inspired by Midoriya's actions in previous times. Thinking about what he would do helped my team win. The VP stated. That is true. I heard her mumbling when trying to figure out a plan. As soon as she said Midoriya, her eyes lit up, and proceeded to inform us of the way to win. Shoujo Mezzo, the sensory tentacled teen stated. Excuse-moi, but the Mademsale Momo was not the only one inspired by Monsieur Midoriya that day. The Frenchish student Yugo Aoyama began. Everyone saw my magnificent sparkle that day, as the beam in the sky. All of you who congregated there, and subsequently passed, was due to me not wanting to be left behind my fellow students. The person whom granted me the feeling of being able to go beyond was Midoriya. And that is not the only time Midoriya helped save me, but I will explain that later, when it is appropriate. So that's what you meant by, my sparkle is all due to you, ma frère Green. Tenya interjected. Oui, that is so good, sir. The effeminate, but can he pull it off, man confirmed. You can't be serious, I thought he did that for the small group I was in. Jumped in the tape dispenser hero, Shiro Hanta. Me, Uraraka and Midoriya ended up together, and it was his plan that got us to pass. Wait a moment, this was when you fought that chick that was changing shape and was naked. Yes, that was the first time I saw that ability. Second time was in the raid, and it ended up being Himiko Toga. Replied Midoriya. Wait, that chick you fought, was it supposed to be Kami? Asked Bakugo, intrigued by this development. Yes it was. Answered Izuku. She first pretended to be Uraraka, but I could tell that it wasn't her. Ochako is a lot more competent than the shapeshifter acted like. This made Ochako happy again, knowing about it then, but feeling joy at remembering his trust in her. She gave a little squeeze to the hug that they are still sharing, no one pointing it out because he needs it, and it is so darn cute. Hold up. So you are saying that with the exception of Todoroki, Bakugo, Kirishima, and Kaminari, everyone passed the first part due to problem child? Aizawa asked, dumbfounded. I do believe that is so, and then he went and defended us against Gang Orca, giving us the time to finish evacuating the victims of the disaster. The socialite stated. Put up on the board, classmates saved, inspired, provisional license 26. And another mark for the defeat villain, League of Villain, Himiko Toga. There is no way anyone can dispute this. Aizawa instructed. Yes sir. Momo said, and followed the command. Unless anyone else can figure anything else for the exam, I think we can move on. Tenya put out there. Well, Izuku really inspired me to be a better hero overall, making me decide to push down my feelings for him, but I am seriously reconsidering that right now. And I don't think I need to bring this up, it might make him feel a little uncomfortable, and make me embarrassed, and sound stupid. Thought Uraraka, still enjoying the closeness she is sharing with her Izuku, close to being claimed. I believe I know the next events we are going to talk about, interjected their teacher. I suggest we take a small break, so we can build up our emotional barriers before discussing them. That sounds like a good idea, sir. Tenya agreed. Okay, everyone take 10 minutes, then get back here. The beyond exhausted educator said, while pulling out his phone, and sending a text message. Do you need to get up and move, Izuku? Ochako asked, secretly hoping the answer was no. I'm fine, Uraraka, answered the hugged lad, but his calling her by her last name upsetting the girl with her arms around him. But, why are you calling me Izuku, instead of Deku? Not that I don't like it, I mean it feels really nice coming from you, I mean it sounds perfect coming from your lips. I mean, getting more and more flustered as Midoriya continued to speak. Honestly, I don't want to repeat that name he gave you. I will call you that when we go harrowing, until you change the name to something else. I know I changed it for you, but using it in any way gives him power over you, and he doesn't deserve that consideration. Besides, once I started calling you Izuku, it felt more right than I ever thought, like I should have been calling you that for a long while now. She stated, getting more and more blushed the longer she spoke. And please call me Ochako, I know you called me that to calm me down, but I liked hearing it in your voice. She requested shyly. Oh, okay. Ochako. Responded Izuku, starting to match his hugging partner in blushed tone. Despite the somber feeling of the proceedings, Mina was having to fight herself from gushing in happiness. Looking at the two beet-red teens, she knows it is only a very small matter of time before they admit they like each other. Mina really wanted to see this ship sail, but doesn't want to interfere right now. Looking at her partner in, it's so cute, the Pinkett saw her invisible friend Toru with her phone out taking pictures discreetly. Toru answered Mina's questioning gaze, and responded in their secret body code developed since Toru was invisible and couldn't do the normal responses. Yep, see it too, pictures being taken, we'll send later. Yes, finally happening. After the 10 minutes passed, everyone congregated back at the challenge. For some odd reason, no one noticed the group had increased by 2 people, a certain unknowable type animal, and a sickly-looking blonde. They had decided to stay out of sight unless something needed to be said, wondering why Aizawa had texted them to come here. Okay, it seems we are all back, the class president began. I think we are all aware of the events we are to discuss next, but I have a quandary about this issue. What about it, Idla? Asked the vice president. Well, the training camp and our ill-advised, but oddly successful, rescue attempt of Bakugo. Began the speedster. Don't try and count that crap. I didn't need any help being rescued, I had a plan ready before I was interrupted by the pros. Interrupted the boastful braggart. Sorry, Bakubro. I agree we need to talk about it. You might not have wanted it, but it was what we needed to do. Kirishima stated. I am making a call. Include the rescue attempt. It was stupid, illegal, and should have let me expel you troublemakers, but it was an event that happened, and Midoriya was part of it. Aizawa put his foot down. Going back to the question on hand, before the rude interruption. Idla started up again, receiving a TCH from Bakugo. These two events are extremely interconnected. The events of the assault at the training camp led directly to the rescue attempt. What troubles me is, do we count these as 2 separate events, and if so, do we talk about rescue first, and then camp? It just makes sense to start at camp and go forward. That way, we don't jump around and forget things. Ribbit, the amphibious member of the class offered. Could I say something? Mineta fearfully asked. Of course. You are a member of the class, everyone has a voice. Tenya expounded. Thank you. I agree with Suyu. Call me Asui was heard. We need to start at the camp. And if we do, I have something for the board. The grape-haired teen answered. You do? That surprises me, buddy. Now I am intrigued. Please let us do this, I got to know. Kaminari spoke out, shockingly. It seems we have 3 requests to begin at the camp. Unless anyone objects, we can start there. Mineta, go ahead. Momo calculated and responded. Waiting a few moments in case anyone said anything, Mineta started, okay, but first don't get mad. Remember that young boy at camp, the one that knocked me down when I tried to catch a peek. Yes, and, replied a certain jacked girl, in an icy tone. Remember, I asked not to get mad. I know I am a pervert, and I have some serious issues. Believe it or not, I am trying to change. So let me say this, ladies, I am sorry for trying to violate your privacy in the bathes. One of the most disliked members of the class said, flooring most, especially the females. Anyways, getting back to my point. I heard Midoriya saved that kid from being killed by one of the league members. Pointed out the somehow gaining respect small person. Huh, bucking Deku just broke his damn arm and was trying to sound important. He couldn't defeat crap. Bakugo mouthed off again. I was there when Midoriya told Mandalay he knew where Kota was. He wouldn't have said that without it being true. It gave the Pussycat member some peace of mind so she could focus on her battle. Inputted a person who seems to never get involved, Weijio Mashirao. Indeed he did defeat a villain, and a high-level one too. Interrupted Principal Nezu, revealing himself to the crowd. Muscular is an A-rank villain, and was actually responsible for the deaths of many heroes, including Kota's parents, the hero Team Water Horse. After his arrest, he stated he loved the fight he had with Midoriya, and wants to fight him again, to prove his superiority. Oh, and Mr. Bakugo, any more foul language out of you, and we will be having a discussion later in my office. He sounds like a true villain. Would it be presumptuous of us to get a description of him, so we can be on the lookout if he appears? The fastidious student Idla asked. Well, he is currently in prison at Tartarus, but having knowledge of your possible opponents in the future is a worthwhile enterprise. Yes, I will give you a description. The principal decided. He is a loud, boisterous male. He has short spiky blonde hair that goes everywhere. He loves fighting, and killing the people who oppose him. He loves telling people to die, and that he will kill them. He has an extreme superiority complex, believing he is better than everyone else and tries to prove it any chance he gets. He likes to brag about his powerful quirk, which in this case is a strength-enhancing quirk where he grows more muscle fibers, and covers his body with them. Oh, and he is missing an eye on his left side. That should be enough of a description for you. Finished the high-spec quirked animal. Except for the eye and muscle quirk. He sounds like an adult version of Bakugo. Ribbit. Suyu bluntly stated. What the bloody hell you just say, frog face? I'll kill you. Responded the person who oddly paralleled a well-known murderous villain, as he jumped towards the young hopper. Quickly striking out with his capture tool and quirk, Aizawa stopped the blonde teen. I am getting too much practice with my scarf and abilities stopping you, Bakugo. Sit down, and don't try anything again. Oh, Mr. Bakugo. We will be having a discussion tomorrow. It might not be pleasant, the scarred intelligent animal stated, oddly causing shivers of dread down many a pro hero, and 2 students in attendance. We got a lot of information there. But I do feel like we can put saving civilian Kota up on board. Stated Yaomomo as she proceeded to do as she said. Next, Ochako thought of something. Didn't Mandalay tell us after authorizing us to fight that the League was targeting Kacchan? Izuku is the only one that ever uses that name. Doing a quick whisper into the boy's ear, we need to break that habit of yours, okay? Causing the green teen to do another tomato impression from the breath he felt on his ear, so he found out and reported both authorization to fight and target of villains. Everyone that was still awake at that time nodded. One more thing, I gave authorization due to the determination problem child had about trying to help everyone there. I know I should have told him to come immediately back after giving information, but we all know he would have disobeyed that order. Aizawa backed up. Yes, and what generosity that was giving those still embroiled in danger the means to defend themselves. Thank you, sir. Idla stated while doing a quick bow to his teacher. How to put this up on board? Got it. Pondered Momo, and then proceeded to put Battlefield Courier authorization, camp, and Battlefield Messenger target, camp, Kacchan. On the rapidly losing space board. Shoji Mezzo spoke up. I have one, and I need to go ahead and apologize, since it is a sensitive topic to a classmate. No need to fear, my good comrade. I had fallen more into the abyss at that time and it was due to your, Midoriya, Todoroki, and Psyche Bakugo I was able to corral my inner demons and calm down my soul companion. Edgelord Tokiyami espoused, truly it is I that must apologize for my actions at that time. Mezzo responded, "We understand, and if you accept my apology, then I will accept yours." "Granted," Fumikage replied. "Sorry about that," but Tokiyami went berserk mode with Dark Shadow, and Midoriya was the one to come up with the plan to kite him to Todoroki and Bakugo, as they could produce light to suppress Dark Shadow. Explained the duply armed dude. "Yeah, I went a little crazy there. But man was it fun when we got to that tooth guy and I knocked him completely out. Heck, I saved Mr. Dual Temps and Explodey Boy doing that. You know, I like Broccoli Boy, and you could say he was the one to save those guys, using me as convenient tool. By the way boss, when you going to let me take a bite out of that jerk over there?" doing a quick thumb point to Bakugo. The sentient quirk residing in Fumikage's body interjected. "Down Dark Shadow. We do not need to engage such impulses right now. Though in next combat training, I might let you play a little rougher with him if you want. Just don't bite him, I don't want you getting sick from such rancid meat." The feathered boy answered. "Oh, Dark Shadow. I didn't mean for you to believe I thought of you that way. You and Tokiyami are a strong and powerful duo, and I respect you both for what you do." Midoriya added to conversation upon hearing how the shadow bird described the encounter. "See, this is why I want to adopt him, can we Fumi? No big, Greenie, it was necessary and I was just painting a picture for everyone to understand." Dark Shadow, finishing the conversation he was part of, and returned to Fumikage's body. "I didn't need Birdbrain to come save me. I had the toothy duck right where I wanted him," Bakugo stated, trying to disavow the situation. "No, you didn't. I was right there with you, and had to talk you out of starting more fire and destruction. We were truly saved by Tokiyami and Midoriya showing up." Todoroki added. "Bull hockey. I did have him all but defeated, but you kept getting in my way icy hot." Katsuki yelled. "Sigh, it's not worth arguing about it. It happened, let's move on. Please Idla and Yaoyarozu." The dual-colored haired teen replied. "Sure Todoroki. Let's put this up as classmates saved Mezzo, Tokiyami, Todoroki, and Bakugo," ignoring the objection that was yelled out. "Anything further?" The other recommended student answered. "Yes, I still have more to say about our verdant fellow. It is true he did save me from the going further into the void, but that was not the end of his saving of myself that begotten night." Fumikage continued, "For you must remember, it was our fair freckled friend that led the charge that prevented me from being absconded with via the Vile League. Without his wit, determination, and leadership I would have been taken, alongside Bakugo. He saved me from possible death at their hands, and allowed me not to be present at the next big event, which would have complicated matters beyond the realm of imagination." Dark Shadow popped out once more. "Come on brother, are you sure we can't adopt him?" "Quite," Tokiyami replied to his sentient quirk. "Though it does pain me to reject your proposal, he has not yet fulfilled the requirements to be eligible for the right of inclusion. He has saved our soul, and our body, but has yet to save our heart. Once he has accomplished that feat, we would be able to offer him membership in our murder, our clan, and then together we will truly experience revelry in the dark. Does that mean Midoriya needs to help you get a girlfriend or something? Is there anyone you like him to help with?" "Ribbit," Suyu asked. "That is one way to fulfill the prerequisite, though not the only way, O Lady of the Lake." The avian-headed teen shyly said, getting a small blush. "Tokiyami. I don't know what help I could be, as I don't have any experience myself. But whatever I can do I will, just ask and I will be there for you." Izuku promised. "I shall keep that in my mind for future ponderance. But we need to get back to topic at hand. Let us talk of this nevermore for the time being." The raven-haired Po-fan said. "Yes, thank you for that. While that was certainly enlightening, I think we can all once again agree that this goes on the board." Momo trying to bring everyone back on topic, away from that interesting diversion. Deciding to do a small cheap out, she put X2 by Tokiyami's name. "Then I guess the next topic to discuss was the rescue attempt for Bakubro." Kirishima said. "Yes, although it was truly foolish of us to try and do this ourselves, without Midoriya we would have failed spectacularly. He was the one that came up with the possible infiltration spots for information gathering. Also, the exit strategy we used was devised by him. Especially without the way to leave, we would have been unable to successfully pull off the evacuation of Bakugo. In truth, we had put ourselves in a very precarious position. I believe if we had not left at that moment, we would have been found out by the villains and possibly captured or killed. This includes Bakugo. All of us most likely would have died from the collateral damage or indirect attacks between All Might and the head of the league, all for one. Idla decided to put forth. And I said not to count that crap. I knew exactly how to beat those posers, and was revving up for a massive blast that would have finished them off. If that didn't work, All Might was there. We would have teamed up and clobbered all those putts and the head honcho, and would have walked out in victory. I knew he was in a tough position, but I had faith in him. All Might does not lose. And neither do I. Bakugo counterpointed. Young Bakugo, I am afraid you are mistaken. All Might in his skinny form spoke out, coming into view. No hero, not even myself, wins every battle. I have lost a few myself. The last time I had fought all for one was a Pyrrhic victory at best. I was severely damaged and nearly died. When I started the combat, I was at a disadvantage. I was not able to use most of my remaining power since I did not want you to come to harm. When your classmates succeeded in your escape, I was finally able to start giving it my all. If that did not happen, I would have lost, and without a doubt, been killed. Remaining power. What are you talking about? You are freaking All Might. Even in most dire of situations you win, like you did here. Are you saying you nearly lost, because of me? That you depleted your remaining power, fighting that guy, because of me? Bakugo asked, starting to get confused. Yes, I said remaining power. The damage I had inflicted upon me from the fight I had with AFO 5 years ago led to me losing power over time. I was changing into this present form for years. The teachers knew, as did young Midoriya, which is why they tried and make excuses for me back then. If young Midoriya did not have that information, his rescue plan would have failed, since he would have been waiting for me to win by myself, instead of giving aid at the appropriate time. All Might further expanded. However, do not take this the wrong way, but there is a silver lining on this time. All for One and me were going to fight eventually, it was inevitable. It was the perfect time for the confrontation, as I had just enough power to be able to defeat my nemesis. Any later and I would not have. We would have waited for my successor to have grown enough to be able to end that villain. Successor, yelled the class as one. It's me, opposers. I have always said I will be greater than All Might. Who else but his successor can do that? Cackled Bakugo. No, my successor has already been chosen. And if anyone would put a little thought into it, you could figure it out. I admit I am not that great at keeping secrets. But the time for this one is over. Young Midoriya is my chosen successor. The titanic personality in a small body proclaimed. Oh Izuku. Congratulations. I always knew you were going to be a great hero. Squealed Ochako, giving the newly proclaimed successor a very warm and tight hug. Ribbit. That makes too much sense. If anyone was to take over, it would have to be Midoriya. He is the most like a hero now. Ribbit, Tsuyu interjected. So, he is not your father, just your predecessor and mentor. It would explain all the time he does spend with you. Todoroki added, a little disappointed. Deku, how the hell did you trick All Might into choosing you? You rat bastard. I'll kill you and prove I will be the successor. The bombastic blonde reacted, starting to reach out for the green-haired inheritor. Before Aizawa was able to take action to restrain Bakugo, again, a blur passed in front of him. The next thing everyone knew, Bakugo had been knocked back into his chair, looking at his hands in bewilderment, and had capture tape surrounding him. I do so take offense when that phrase is used. Spoke a certain principal, who was mouse-like, and did not know who his paternal unit was. I am saddened I had to take such actions. Bakugo, you are going to be restrained for the rest of these proceedings. Don't try and use your quirk, I shut it off for the time being. That's amazing, sir. How did you do that? Do you have an extra quirk? What is it? Super speed, power negation, time lock. Started Izuku asking questions, geeking out about this new information about possible quirk usage. Nothing as grandiose as that, just simple knowledge applied in best formation. Pressure points to stop his quirk, and use of kite pathways to accelerate my body. Anyone can do this, just requires studying, exercise, and determination. The high-spec quirk user calmly explained. Turning towards Bakugo, and you young man. That conversation just got a lot more involved. Miss Yaoyaorza, I think it is safe to say we have found all the relative points for this event. Please add to board, so we can continue. Instructed the white-furred instructor. Yes, sir, replied Yaomomo. Adding to board mission success rescue. Classmates saved Idla, Todoroki, Kirishima, Yaoyauruzo, Bakugo. Heroes saved All Might. Excuse me sir, should we put the other heroes that were involved in the rescue mission? Good question. No, let's not. They were tangentially saved, but the most direct results are the ones that are mentioned. Oh, and please do not put up the successor revelation. I have a feeling it will come out at a more appropriate time. The highly intelligent animal deduced. Now that is finished, we need to move on, or is it move back, to the next event? Final exams. Idla asked. No, there is one thing before that. Uraraka interrupted. He survived that encounter with Shigaraki at the mall. Ochako. Thank you for thinking of that, but I really did not do anything. I just talked with the guy. If we are going by achievements or influence I might have had, this really does not seem to fit. Midoriya responded. Are you sure Izuku? Bubbly girl asked, and got a nod from her current arm candy. Sigh, problem child. Because you asked not to, we won't add it. But, you calmly dealt with a villain in a public place, without making a scene. Just doing that prevented any hysteria that might have happened. Aizawa added. Yes, let's get to final exams, I am curious to see the influence here. Madamselle Uraraka, I do not mean to put the spotlight on you, but I feel you must let your brilliance out here. Shine Mon Amy. Aoyama said, looking out at a weird angle no one knew why. Aoyama, I can't believe you did this. I don't think I can, Ochako said, starting to blush tremendously. Ochako, I inspired you. How? You are so amazing already, I don't think there is anything I could do that would improve you. Izuku responded, shocked by the implications. Oh Izuku. Don't ever think that. You are a benchmark I think of all the time, trying to get to your level. Yes, we passed because I was thinking about what you would do. Aoyama picked that up, and that's what led to us being able to capture 13. Ochako quickly answered. Ribbit. Is that why you were so flustered later? That you didn't want him to know how impactful he is to you? Suyu coming straight out and asking. Suyu. I mean, what are, yes, it is. I didn't want anyone to realize how much I depend on Izuku. I'm sorry for keeping it hidden. Forgive. Gravity Girl reluctantly asked. There is nothing to forgive. To be honest, you inspire me too. Your boundless energy, uplifting personality, and the fact you are trying so hard to succeed to help your family. It gets me motivated to do better also. The green-haired cinnamon bun reveled, starting to match Ochako's bright colorization. Oh, I didn't know. I guess we kinda always just support each other, even unknowingly. Thank you, Uraraka said, oddly placing her forehead on his for a moment, then pulling back quickly. So cute, thought most of the attendees. Deku. Stop acting so, MMLJJJMMM. Began Bakugo, before an amazingly well-placed throw of a certain type of sticky hair quirk byproduct hit the loudmouth right in the, mouth. This action actually impressed a lot of the classmates and teachers, giving Mineta a few more acceptance points. I did not want to hear any more out of him. Mainly because I passed because Midoriya inspired me too. I wanted to be a hero to become cool, but he has proven time and again that you become a hero because you are cool. I came up with the tactic against Midnight because it was something Midoriya would do. Playing on an enemy's overconfidence, and turn it into a weakness. The micro-perv said, gaining more respect from everyone. Midnight felt the same, and mentioned it in the evaluations when we finalized grading for the exams. Aizawa stated, giving verification to the purple-haired shorty's statement. I think we need to add his passing his exam. That fight he had against you Mr. All-Bro was manly as all get out. And he even got Bakubro to work with him. That's beyond manly considering their chemistry. Kirishima proposed. Yes, I would like to agree. It shows a true heroic spirit to be able to turn an antagonist into an ally, even if it was temporary. He really impressed me there. All Might supported. Please guys, don't put that up there. It would be selfish of me to claim that as an achievement, or an inspiration. I needed to pass too. And it was something both me and Cock hearing a cleaning out of throat next him, I mean Bakugo did together. It would not be fair to use it against him in this contest, and if we add it to his achievements, they just balance each other out. Implored Izuku. I want to back Midoriya's request. He is showing a bunch of integrity and honor for this decision. If no one had an issue with me dropping out of sports festival, then no one should be upset he does not want passing to be hailed as a deciding factor. The tailed martial artist of the class stated. This is an interesting dilemma. We have proposal and verification for both adding it to board, and for it not to be added. I believe we need to respect Midoriya's wishes, and we will leave it off. Momo suggested. Agreed. Both arguments are valid, but honoring Midoriya's request is of higher value. His self-sacrificing tendencies apply even towards his past deeds. Once again, showing how he is a true hero and superior student. Idla proclaimed, doing a quick bow towards Midoriya, causing the boy to try and get his friend to stop bowing as he believed it was not a big deal. Momo was conflicted. Does she bring up how Todoroki in her past? She didn't think of anything that Midoriya would have done, and had worked well with her fellow recommendation student. The closest she could think of was how Shoto was willing to listen to her plan, and felt he might not have done so at beginning of the year. At the same time, Todoroki did say he voted for her for presidency, and that was a good time before sports festival, where the evenly multicolored haired young man had been changed by our bundle of green hope. Looking at Todoroki with questioning eyes, he responded back with a slow no headshake. Accepting his decision, Momo kept quiet. Okay, adding classmate-inspired Uraraka, Mineta. What's next? Asked Momo, looking at Idla, Todoroki, and Midoriya. She got the answer needed. Oh, the next thing is the stain incident. All three boys locked eyes, scared about the possible ramifications of the truth. Mr. Midoriya, Mr. Idla, and Mr. Todoroki. We teachers do know the true and full story. I am actually looking into that, since it seems you may have been given a raw deal. The high IQ mammal squeaked. As for the events themselves, I am providing you with authorization to disclose the actual events. You will not be punished for this as long as I am an administrator of this school. You sure, sir? Todoroki asked. Very, and if you want, just imagine the surprise on their faces when they realize Endeavor's true part. Nezu answered, with a wicked grin. I would like that very much, the son of Endeavor responded back, with an equal grin. Izuku, what's going on? We know you three fought Stain, and was saved by Todoroki's father. Is there something else? Ochako worriedly asked. Yes, but we were not allowed to talk about it. Not that we didn't want to let you know, just that we couldn't. I'm sorry for keeping secrets like this, from you and everyone. Midoriya answered, giving a double meaning to his apology, which only three other people recognized. Well then, I will admit my faults and come right out and state it. Everyone, I let the anger I felt at my brother's injury from Stain overwhelm me. I interned in Hosu for one reason. I was going to hunt down Stain, and kill him. Idla announced. What? Yelled the class. Yes, I was extremely foolish. Unfortunately, I was successful, and started a fight with the hero killer. It did not go well. He paralyzed me with his quirk, and was plunging down with his sword right before Midoriya showed up and stopped him. Being completely honest, without Midoriya, I would be dead, the speedster revealed. Whoa dude, that can't be true. Endeavor stopped him before you guys got seriously hurt. Asked Jiro, hoping her sensitive ears were deceiving her, as she could tell he spoke the truth. No, it was Idla, Midoriya, and myself that defeated Stain. I only showed up due to Midoriya pinging his location with coordinates and not a message. So, I would not have been there to help defeat the villain, without Midoriya's actions. My father took credit, since he was a licensed pro-hero, and high-ranking one. It was to cover up 3 unlicensed school children who used their quirks illegally to defeat the hero's serial killer, Todoroki honestly explained. Wait, that was what the message was for, a call for help. Oh Izuku, I'm sorry I was not able to come help. Ochako cried out, burying her head into Izuku's chest and crying a little, saddened that she was not able to have helped her current hug buddy. Ochako, don't beat yourself up about it. You were in a completely different city, it makes sense you couldn't. In truth, I did that out of complete hope. I didn't know if anyone was around to, or could, help. Being a little morbid, worst case scenario, at least people would have been able to find our bodies if we had failed. The green lightning effect hero pointed out. Izuku Midoriya, I never want to hear something like that from you. I may have been calling you Deku because it made me think about Dekiru, but you are not just some who can do, you are a person who does, and mainly that is survive and save people. Our gravity girl scolded the green-haired boy. Uraraka, I understand where you are coming from. But that is highly illogical. Midoriya had the right idea, calling for aid and giving location where the end result could be found. One must plan for the worst, hope for the best, and focus on succeeding. Aizawa stated, giving an impromptu lesson. Any more shocking revelations? Quite frankly, this is getting a little far-fetched. Asked Hantashiro, the tapered elbow student. Yes, there is one more thing. Idla presented. Stain believed Midoriya was a true hero, one who is worthy according to his philosophy. Even after being defeated and tied up, Stain broke his restraints and rescued my friend from Anomu. He was able to impress a fanatic to the point of the crazy person wanted to protect him. The floor was a very comfortable place right now, as most of the class was meeting it at this moment. I was joking, Shiro yelled out. Momo looked around, and knew no one was going to object, so she put up on the board. Classmate saved Idla, major villain defeated, Stain, villain impressed, swayed, Stain. I propose a small break. I, for one, am highly overwhelmed and need something to calm down. Maybe a nice cup of tea, or a pot of tea. Yes, that does sound better. Momo asked. That is an excellent idea, Ms. Yaoyaorzu. If it would not be too much bother, could you get me a cup of green tea? It is very calming. Nezu requested, receiving an affirmative nod from the ponytailed beauty. Everyone take 10 minutes. The class dispersed once again, to come to terms with the most recent revelations. They had known about the Stain incident, but apparently had not known the incident. Many people were giving the three heroes different looks, some in awe, some in concern, and one or two in desire. Izuku reluctantly got out of Ochako's hug, to deal with some biological issues, but once he came back, he was immediately embraced by her again. He did not mind one bit, and returned the hug. For fairness, Bakugo was released from his restraints, and had Mineta's ball removed from his mouth, though Bakugo was followed everywhere he went in those minutes, to prevent any disturbance. Mineta had to get a dissolvent from his room to facilitate the removal procedure. He had a wicked glee on his face as it was used on the explosive boy, for only he and the support department knew his diaper on his hero costume is actually a device that produces the solvent. It uses Mineta's natural bodily wastes to synthesize the mixture to remove the sticky properties of his balls. Once everyone had settled their nerves, and got some refreshments, they returned to common room to continue. There was not much difference in seating arrangements, but were a few. Bakugo was made to sit in a chair in the farthest corner, a good distance away from Midoriya. Right next to the explosive teen sat Principal Nezu, ready to discipline the boy at a moment's notice. Momo had Todoroki sit near her, just to keep an eye on her fellow recommended student. Idla somehow found himself on a love seat seated between Mina and Toru. Tsuyu had been near Ochako and Midoriya, but now sat right next to them. The oddest change was Mineta had been invited to sit next to Kirishima, as the bald boy had started to show some serious manliness, by stepping up and apologizing, and having one hell of a wicked arm. So, time to resume. I think we need to talk about the sports festival next. I can only really think of one major thing he was involved in during that time. However, I do not believe it is my prerogative to say it, so I ask if anyone has something they would like to put forth. Yaomomo started the proceeding back with, I do believe I have one. When Midoriya got first place in the obstacle course race, he did it without using his quirk. I noticed a large upswing in internet chatter about how many people were impressed that he did it. Some of those posts included that seeing that made them want to apply to UA in the future, as they saw not everything revolves around quirk usage. Oh, and I would like to say, it was the first time in UA history that someone won the event quirkless. Principal Nezu offered. Before someone glares at Bakugo decides to object, I will back that up. We got a huge upsurge in fan mail after the tournament, with a lot of it going to Midoriya thanking him for being an inspiration to the low-powered quirks, and a couple of quirkless people too. Aizawa interjected. Excuse me, sir. I never got any fan mail. Izuku questioning said. There is a reason for that. It is standard policy to hold all letters addressed to a student, unless it is from a direct family member, until the end of the year. We do this, not to invade your privacy, but as a cautionary measure. It is also for a learning lesson. As you had finished a year, you can read and see how far you have come. We don't give it to you during the year, in case it causes a sense of inflated ego that we then need to stamp down. It is a very logical procedure. Aizawa explained. The class bristled at this, but came to accept the reasons for it. Oh, so would Inspiration First Place Sports Fest be okay to put up? Or do we need to add more information? Momo asked. I think that would be fine, don't need to get too complicated in these bulletin points. Weijiro offered, getting a few confirming nods from others. As a friend and rival, I have to put out Midoriya's leadership skills. It is truly awe-inspiring how he took such a diverse group of people, including someone he had never met, and formed them into such an effective team that I was forced to use my ultimate move to be able to nearly defeat him in the final moments of the event. Idla put forth. Midoriya had noticed something during Idla's point. Ochako had tensed up when the team was mentioned. He knows she is okay with Tokiyami and himself, so decided to ask her in a whisper, Ochako, are you okay? Is this about Mei being part of the team? Ochako responded, I just have a few small problems with her. It's not like I dislike her, but I don't like the way she gets in people's faces so much. And I can't stand the way she just grabs you, no others. Quickly trying to divert the slip-up. I understand, she is a little insane, but she does do good work. I just think of her like a crazy cousin, one that you see rarely, enjoy the little time you have, and grateful when you separate. It helps to have a geek-out buddy too. Whispered back to the girl in her arms, not knowing how thankful she was that he saw the pink-dreaded girl as family. Idla's right. During the cavalry battle, Midoriya pushed me to the point I was about to use my flames, going against a promise I made myself. We all know what happened in our battle in the tournament. He could have, and should have won, but sacrificed his chance to push me past my limits. He forced me to take a good hard look at myself, and helped me change for the better. I thank him now, then, and in the future. Todoroki supplied. Coming back to the discussion from his little chat with the brunette he was with, Midoriya replied, Idla, Todoroki. I don't think that was anything special, I just did what I thought was right. And that is exactly the point. You know, I should have asked this of you after you saved my life, but please call me Tenya, the class president presented. Agreed, call me Shoto also, Midoriya. A chorus of people started to give permission to use their personal names to the class inspiration, including one that went, I've always told you to call me Sue. Surprised, Izuku accepted the offers, and gave them authorization to use his first name too. Though he did admit he might accidentally fall back to using their last names, due to habit. During the name exchange, the VP of Class 1A put on board. Leadership shown, cavalry battle, classmate inspired, Todoroki. Next is USJ, does anyone have anything? The question was put out. Ribbit. It was his plan that had Mineta, him, and me to be able to escape the water zone. If he wasn't there, we might have been seriously injured or killed. Ribbit, everyone's favorite frog girl stated. A.S. Sue. Getting a glare from the girl he was about to call by last name. We can't add that. Yes, we worked together to leave that encounter, but then I put you two in direct danger when we went to see if we could help Mr. Aizawa. You almost were killed by Shigaraki, if Mr. Aizawa didn't erase his power. Midoriya interjected. Problem child. Acknowledging your mistake in coming to help me and putting your teammates in danger is a good lesson to have learned. I saw how quick you were to attack as soon as I stopped the attack, you didn't hesitate. I would propose that it balanced out again. Also, have you ever heard the theory of unintended consequences? The boy shook his head no. It is when an action you performed causes a benefit from the result even though it was not expected. In this case, the Nomu would have killed me if you didn't attack Shigaraki. I felt his muscles applying more pressure to my head that would have collapsed it. The beast having to move and protect its master saved me. Erasure Head explained. Stunned at the revelation that he actually saved his teacher, Midoriya didn't not know what to say. He just hung his head a little. Ochako decided to comfort him a little more, by tightening the hug, and seeing a questioning look from Tsuyu, nodded. Tsuyu joined the hug to show thanks to the boy who saved her life. Izuku jerked a little when the froggy princess joined the hug, and stuttered a little. Suyu left the hug, letting him know it was just a friendly comfort embrace, and not to read too much into it. Momo put up on the board, students saved Mineta, Asui X2, teacher saved Aizawa. I have won. It showed a sense of responsibility and good judgment to step down as president. Not that I think you wouldn't have been a good one, but giving it to Idla turned out best in the long run. Kriti put forth, embarrassed how the phrase came out. Indeed, even though I desired the position myself, I used my vote for Izuku. He had shown his judgment and tenacity in the previous day's battle simulation, and immensely impressed me. In fact, I only consider myself president pro temp, and will turn over the duties whenever he is ready to take the mantle. Tenya accentuated with his arms chopping, getting a giggle from the girls beside him. Ochako, sensing Izuku about to object, whispered, "Don't. I know what you are about to do. No one knows who would have gotten it if you weren't here. Yes, he might have, but then again Bakugo could have gotten it. Besides, I was one of the other 2 votes for you. I trusted you then, as I trust you now." Giving the broccoli boy a chance to change vegetable types, going red as a radish. Mom. Momo. No offense taken, it is something that happened. And Tenya, you are doing a great job, and want you to keep it up. If I feel confident that you are better for this position, though if you ever need help, I will be there. Midoriya did say, getting a smile out of Ochako. Nodding to the boy she is grateful didn't take issue with her statement. Momo put up position transfer Prez. Idla stood up to say something, and oddly got pulled down by his chair mates. He went on to say, I am not sure, but the battle trial does not need to be mentioned. I expressed my testimonial in the last exchange. Does anyone have an objection? No one objected. Aizawa spoke up, yeah, I don't think we need to mention the quirk evaluation exam in much detail either. I will say this, I fully intended to expel at least 3 of you that day. Problem Child was high on my list. He impressed me enough, that if he could change in such a short amount of time, the rest of you had potential. My logical ruse was a logical ruse itself. After all, I expelled the previous year's whole class, I don't have an issue doing it. Momo, shocked her evaluation of the first day of classes was so wrong, just turned around and put, teacher impressed, Aizawa, students saved 3. Noticing her discomfort, and seeing what had been happening to Izuku to calm him down. Todoroki stood up, and hugged the ponytailed girl. Shocked by his actions, Momo eeped, but didn't try and escape, if anything she leaned into it. The rest of the class was flabbergasted, except for 2 big shippers who squeaked in joy. Monsieur Nezu, I must ask an important question. Would you perhaps shine some light on the entrance exam? I believe I have an amazing tidbit to share, but it won't sparkle as intensely as I think without a certain piece of information. Perchance, what was the minimum need to pass the practical portion? I swear not to share any revelation you give, and I am sure the others will agree. No point in clouding the future for other sparklers. Aoyama asked. Mr. Aoyama, we normally do not divulge that. However, if one was to do some research it can be obtained. I will go ahead and let you know, as the exam is getting an overhaul, to allow more specific types of quirks a better showing. The minimal score needed was 50 points in combined. Does that help? The principal answered and asked. Oui. Most enlightening sir, and just what I expected. MSR. Midoriya, Izuku my good friend. Je vous remercie. I received 5 rescue points from the time we teamed up. Those points put me over the limit, allowing my glorious self to attend UA. Aoyama said, actually taking a knee and bowing to his friend. Ochako's mind was swirling. Her 28 villain points would not have let her pass. She got rescue points, but only had helped Izuku. So, she would have failed, without him. Screw it, he needs to know. Izuku, my god, I just realized. You are making my dreams come true. I might have died in the exam, except for you. I would have failed the exam, without you. I would not be in UA, without you. I would not be getting better, without you. I cannot live my life, without you. I have liked you since you saved me from the 0-pointer, and my feelings have only deepened. I love you, Izuku Midoriya. Ochako finally confessed, crawling into his lap and giving him a strong, passionate first kiss, for both of them. Silence. 1 blink, 2 blink, 3 blink. About time. Ribbit. At that point celebrations and commotions started. The shippers of the class were having overload. The third friend of the trio was absolutely stunned, essentially has crashed. The blasted boy tried to say something and attack, but was swarmed by a deluge of sticky balls, and had a pressure point in his throat pressed, cutting off his voice. A redhead was chanting about manliness, getting a tape dispenser and Electro Boy to join in. The dark raven of Class 1A moved quickly out of eyesight of the newly formed couple. The purity and the light from their affection started to hurt him a little. Todoroki watched in awe, and started sputtering flames from his head. Luckily Momo was there with a fire extinguisher, concentrating on him instead of the soul-searing kiss going on. A certain former number one burst out in a huge smile, thinking, "That's my boy." Aizawa let this go on for a minute, even he was not immune to the fluff. Afterwards, he went Scarazawa and got the class to calm down. Looking at the kissing duo, had them stop, reminded them of being heroes first, students second, and then dating third. Oh, and no more PDA. As for the not quite yet, but damn sure soon, minted boyfriend, he experienced so much joy his spirit left his body. His soul journeyed to the gates of heaven, got a high five from Benton, goddess of love, returned to his mortal body, and returned the kiss with enthusiasm. Using the moment after Aizawa stopped the kiss, Izuku had to say something. "Ochako, will you be my girlfriend? I feel the same way towards you, I love you too." "I think it would be obvious," she said yes. Letting everyone cool down, Momo looked at the board. Knowing it was necessary, put up. Classmate saved, Ochako, 0-pointer, exam, classmate helped, Aoyama exam, rescue point, and classmate helped, Ochako, exam, rescue points. Sighing, the genius girl felt it was almost over, and the results spoke for themselves before even getting to the other contestant. "I think that's it for Izuku, we have gotten all the way back to the beginning of UA. I believe there is nothing else, so let's move on to Bakugo." Momo motioned. "Sorry Yao bro, there is one more thing. Bakubro is going to be upset with me for pointing it out, but anyone remember the sludge villain incident, nearly 2 years ago?" Seeing some nods, and a few confused looks, well, Bakugo was the student that was captured, and the heroes weren't able to save him. It was Izubro that ran in to help save him, not the pros. Kirishima put out. MMMMVJL Juof LJLJJLJLOIJULWOEROIOUG. Mumbled Katsuki, glaring at the rodent administrator next to him. Sensing the student had something to say concerning this incident, and that only few people here were involved, Nezu tapped the pressure point, allowing him to use his voice. "Deku did not save me. He just got in the way. All Might saved me, not this puny punk." The blonde spewed out. "I am afraid you are mistaken, young Bakugo. Yes, I did end up defeating the villain, but it was young Midoriya who saved you. I was inspired by his actions, a boy I had met that hadn't had his quirk awakened yet, so basically quirkless. He did the most heroic thing I have seen in years, moved without thought to help, not thinking of his own well-being. I was already weakened that day, and if young Midoriya had not done what he did, I would not have gotten involved. Sadly, that might have caused you permanent damage, or even death, while we were waiting on a better quirked hero." All Might factually explained, surprising many, especially the temperamental youth. Momo turned to the board, and put up, "Civilian classmate saved, Bakugo, hero inspired, All Might." I am really scared to ask, but is that it for Izuku's accomplishments? If not, then I have to sit down. We should just graduate him now, considering all that he has done, the past her limits VP asked. No, I do believe that is it of his past deeds. We now need to balance this contest out, and put forth Bakugo's achievements. Anyone want to start? The principal announced. Yes, I kicked Deku's butt in our most recent fight. Still showing how pathetic he is. Bakugo interjected. You mean the one that broke curfew, and you were punished for with a week of house arrest? Aizawa asked. Yep, that's the one. Deku barely did anything, except dodge around, and throw a sneaky punch as he is to be fighting with kicks now. Blonde Bomber said. So, you won a fight. Against an opponent, who had recently changed his fighting style. After being called out after hours, to participate in an unsanctioned fight. And he used an attack, he knew was weakened against you. Sounds like a truly fair fight. Aizawa snarked. Go ahead, put it on the board. Momo, looking a little disgusted, put up one fight, Izuku, unauthorized. Bakugo helped Kirishima and me pass the license exam. Kaminari pointed out. During first round, he gave me a grenade to use against our opponent, since he was being incapacitated at the time. It was necessary as a distraction so I could beat the guy. Also, during second round, we were able to escort the wounded he kept finding. Then why did he fail jamming Wei? Asked Jiro, unleashing a serious scathing retort. He kept yelling at the victims to save themselves, and even though it was the correct call, the testers did not like the attitude. Kirishima added. Okay, valid. Classmates helped license exam, 2 going on board. Momo put up grudgingly. Next, everyone stopped and started thinking. After a few minutes Kirishima put forth, he helped me study to pass the finals classroom portion. Yeah, that's right. I saw them in a booth together at a restaurant. I first thought they were on a date, but then Bakugo started beating upside the head with a notebook, and I realized they had textbooks laid out. Toru accidentally verified, oddly scaring a few people on the concept of a date with Bakugo. It is the duty of all classmates to support the others. Helping study is a fundamental part of the respect of the unity of the class. Momo helped many study, for example. Idla extrapolated. True, I did do a study group, but I do not consider it an accomplishment, just basic manners. However, considering whom we are speaking about, I presume we could chalk this up as, in his own way. Momo shrugged, putting classmate helped Kirishima's study exam up. You idiots better not forget I am number 1, I won the sports fest and placed first in entrance exam. I blew the competition away, right round face, Bakugo sneered. Yes, sorry Izuku, she whispered, he fought me no holds barred in our fight. It showed me something I am lacking, more physical attacks. However, you can't say I didn't push you too. Uraraka admitted. Yeah, must have been easy with your boyfriend telling you how to beat me, and still failing. Bakugo retorted. Katsuki, a voice said, reverberating into everyone's soul. Looking around, they observed green fire coming out of Izuku's eyes. I told you then, as I am telling you now. I did not give her a plan to beat you. I offered, but she wanted to do it on her own. I had barely came up with some of the concepts she used, and she made more I had never thought of. It was completely her that nearly took you down. Do not disrespect her again. Ochako quickly whispered to Izuku, I did think of some things you would try during the match, so you did kinda help, but only as inspiration. By the way, I never knew you could be so protective, it is, hot. She finished blushing, also causing her new boyfriend to blush out too. Todoroki put out, yes, you did win the tournament, and then threw it in our faces, claiming it was pointless, since you didn't get the fight you wanted. So now it is an accomplishment, but then it was an insult. No one can dispute that fact. He did place number 1 in Sports Fest. And in the entrance exam. However, he did do an amazing feat in the test. He got first place only with villain points. That has never happened, usually everyone gets a few rescue points, and even Endeavor got points when he applied. That was disconcerting. The principal revealed. Momo nodded, and put first place entrance exam, first place sports festival on the board. Looking at Uraraka questioningly, sadly the gravity girl nodded, and classmate inspired Uraraka, sports fest was put up. Anything else? Kirishima decided to add, well, he did pin down that warp gate guy for a while at the USJ, right at the same time Todoroki and me got there. So he helped save All Might from the Nomu. Todoroki pointed out, yes, after Izuku had distracted him, and right before I froze the Nomu. We all participated at that moment. Izuku spoke up, he did technically save me when he surprised Kurigiri, the Black Mist guy. Screw you Deku. I did not save you, you were in my way. Bakugo yelled. Just to end this, let's split the difference. Bakugo did pin the warp guy, helping All Might, but did not help Izuku. Is that fair? Momo asked. Seeing reluctant nods, she put up teacher saved All Might. Final call. Anything else Bakugo has done? The vice president set out. After 3 minutes, no one else had come up with anything. Okay, with Idla's okay, I think this ends the competition. We need to evaluate the board. I agree it is time to resolve this interclass debate. The board should show us the truth. Idla agreed. Looking at the board, there was a major difference. Midoriya's achievements. Villain defeated, school saved, Eri, saving Soul, school festival, save Eri, raid, defeat villain, overhaul, save Togato, raid, defeat villain, League of Villain Himiko Toga, X2. Classmates saved, inspired, provisional license 26, saving civilian, Kota, battlefield courier, authorization, camp, battlefield messenger, target, camp, Kachan. Classmates saved, Mezzo, Tokiyami X2, Todoroki, and Bakugo, mission success, rescue. Classmates saved, Idla, Todoroki, Kirishima, Yaoyuruzo, Bakugo, heroes saved, All Might. Classmate inspired, Uraraka, Mineta. Classmate saved, Idla, major villain defeated, Stain, villain impressed, swayed, Stain, inspiration, first place sports fest, leadership shown, cavalry battle, classmate inspired, Todoroki. Students saved, Mineta, Asui X2, teacher saved, Aizawa, position transfer, Prez. Idla. Teacher impressed, Aizawa, students saved, 3. Classmate saved, Ochako, 0-pointer, exam, classmate helped, Aoyama exam, rescue point, classmate helped, Ochako, exam, rescue points. Civilian, classmate saved, Bakugo, hero inspired, All Might. Bakugo's achievements. 1 fight, Izuku, unauthorized. Classmates helped, license exam. 2 classmate helped, Kirishima study exam, first place, entrance exam, first place, sports festival, classmate inspired, Uraraka, sports fest, teacher saved, All Might. It was obvious that Izuku won. Todoroki spoke up, there is the proof. Izuku has been doing everything for everyone. You have barely done anything, and those times you did, was for personal gain. He is not worthless, even a villain considers him worthy. Matter of fact, you owe your life to him on multiple occasions. Do you concede the challenge? Hell no. Izuku is a Deku, and always will be. I am going to be the best, and if he does get in front of me, I will enjoy ripping him down. But you all put a lot of crap on the board for Deku, so what did he win? Bakugo answered. Although this was a contest, we never did put a prize on it. Doing so would have been tantamount to gambling, and we as students of UA should never indulge in such a vice. However, no competition is complete without a winning condition. About this. Bakugo, since you lost, recant your words from earlier, and apologize to Izuku. Idla decided. Like hell I will. I will never apologize to Deku, everything I said he deserves. Just have to wait for his cowardly butt to come to the realization I'm right, and take that final plunge. Bakugo stated, digging a tremendous hole he was about to be buried in. Izuku looked down for a moment, then lifted his head. Looking at his classmates, and all the things they pointed out. Seeing his accomplishments laid out, and feeling the love in his arms, he finally came to a decision. Giving a quick kiss to Ochako, he stood up and walked over to Bakugo. Looking him directly in the eye, he started, I had always respected you. You had a charisma and drive I could only hope for. Apparently I grew into it and didn't realize it. All the years you bullied me are in the past, I don't care anymore. You have no power over me from this day forth. So, I will never take your suggestion of killing myself. I am going to live a long life, save a ton of people, and retire happily with a family. I just hope you grow up eventually, and decide the same things. Goodbye Kachan. You are now just Bakugo. And he walked back to his girlfriend, and hugged her. The 3 adults, who had not been here at the beginning, were flabbergasted at the concept of a student being suicide-baited. All Might looked at Aizawa, I can't do anything as he is just barely a student in one of my classes. I leave this to you. Midoriya, I am proud of you, you have shown tremendous growth and maturity. I am honored to have you as my successor. Good night everyone, I have to leave. Yes, I agree with the sentiments of our good All Might. Everyone, this was a most enlightening experience, and please take a lesson from it. One determined person can make a world of difference, and each of you are determined people. Aizawa, please help escort Mr. Bakugo to my office. I think that chat we were going to have tomorrow suddenly got pushed forward. Principal Nezu said, leaving the dorm. Stand up and come here, problem child. Aizawa spoke harshly. Izuku winced, and came towards his teacher. Aizawa looked over to the green-haired student and went, why are you here Midoriya? I asked for problem child, that one over there with blonde hair. I think I'll just call you Kid Might from now on. Smiling sincerely at the shocked young man. Turning his head again, I don't have all-day problem child, get over here now, before I have to drag you to the principal's office. Bakugo tried to ignore his teacher, and headed to his room. Completely forgetting about the capture scarf, the blonde-haired exploder barely made it 3 steps before he was cocooned. Fighting against the bindings, Bakugo did his best, but could not escape. Content to just wait the teacher out, since he would get exhausted dragging him to the main building. Bakugo stood still, acting like a major drag. Once again not thinking of others, he was surprised when he started to float. Aizawa thanked Ochako for her help, and carried the soon-to-be months-long detention recipient to the office. 3 days later, Bakugo returned to the dorms, with a haunted look on his face. No one had the desire to ask what happened, but all noticed 2 major things. He never ate cheese again, and jumped at anything that squeaked. Life resumed. Ochako and Izuku dated seriously, eventually helping both of them complete their life goals: parents taken care of, many people saved, long life, and wonderful family with each other. Mina and Toru decided to break Idla out of his shell, and both dated him at the same time, unbeknownst to him. One of the girls finally did break through to Idla, and he finally reciprocated the feelings. The other girl was completely fine with the outcome. Who was who? That is a secret. Momo and Shoto did try for a relationship, but it unfortunately did not work out. Todoroki ended up getting married to Yui Kodai from Class B. The conversations in that house was mind-blowingly quiet. Momo dated haphazardly but was never able to find the one. She found solace in running her family's corporation after a few years as a hero. Even though she was single, she adopted 3 kids and was content with her life. Izuku became a murderer. He helped Tokiyami find love with the ghost girl of Class B, Reiko. Since he finally fulfilled all requirements, he was adopted into the Bird Man's clan as a brother. It was an interesting experience to say the least, and when Izuku told Ochako about what was involved, she couldn't stop laughing for 3 hours. Mineta continued to grow, and toned down his perversion to such a degree that people forgot what he was like. He worked a few years as a pro, and then went into psychology, to help people who were like him when he was younger. He met a civilian nurse and got married, inviting everyone from Class A and B, all showed except for Bakugo. And as for Bakugo, squeak, 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 squeak.